Good morning, Oracles. Well, unfortunately, I've got to put the red shirt back on, but it honestly wasn't really a terrible day, down about 0.5%. The entire market was down. Tesla pulled down to 681, and then the market did rebound when we got the Fed minutes that came out, and the market ended up going slightly green. Tesla underperformed a little bit, but we were pushing really close to 700, which is a very strong resistance level for us right now, which will in turn become a very strong support when we get past it. But because of that, if we ended up going up the same amount as the entire indices in the market, we would have crossed 700. It was just a barrier. I'm really not too concerned because that's near term. Long term is what most of us are in this for anyway. So looking at the long term, we've got competition out there and lots of discussions about competition. Usually happens at the end of every quarter. We're starting to get numbers coming in from all the competitors to see who has done what over the last year compared to last year. So we'll go through some of those numbers right now and some other people's takes on them just to discuss because, again, I am a Tesla bull and many of the people I follow are Tesla bulls, but I also like to follow some of the bears, and some of the bulls I follow, like a Gary Black, he's a Tesla bull, but he's a very realistic Tesla bull. So I like to see all this different information, and I love all of you guys in the comments because all you guys are all kind of all over the spectrum as well, and gives us all a very good, well-rounded view of what we can see for Tesla in the future when it comes to everything that they're into and where we can see the future headed. So one of the big things that we had seen over the week was BYD selling more EVs than Tesla. Well, that article was semi-incorrect. So when you include hybrids, yes, BYD did outsell Tesla. But when you look at just pure EVs alone, Tesla still sold 200,000 more than BYD. So again, this is something we've talked about in the past when it comes to competition. Competition, at least right now, for probably the next 3 to 5 years, competition is good. Because competition right now is Tesla versus Tesla. Tesla needs to produce as many vehicles as they can. That's the only competition they have. They need to be able to keep up with demand, and they cannot do that right now. So as we get further on down the road, production gets higher, and a lot of other automotive makers out there are producing more EVs. That just means it's a good thing for them because EVs are taking over the entire automotive market, and there's a huge automotive market out there for everyone to play in. But when we get 3 to 5 years down the road and Tesla has now caught up with all the demand, what are they going to be seeing when it comes to, how many more vehicles can they get out there? How much of the entire automotive market will they have? And if you take a look at some rough numbers for the future, Tesla said by 2030 they have a goal of having 20 million vehicles produced per year. And if at that point the entire automotive market is, let's say, 100 million vehicles, that means Tesla is going to have 20% of the market. Not unrealistic. We've got likes of VW and Toyota who are pushing pretty close to that themselves. So that could be realistic, but can Tesla stay in the lead? Now, personally, I think they can, but it's going to be slightly more challenging going down the road. As Gary Black had said himself, they didn't have any competition. Nobody was doing anything between 2019 and 2021 because they were just sitting there and Tesla was just running away with the EV market. Now Tesla has this massive lead, but a lot of other companies are coming up, investing a lot of money, time, and effort into making these things happen. Again, we can discuss, the quality of them, who's going to choose what vehicles over Teslas all day long. That's a different story, but again, that is what Tesla is competing with now. Tesla had basically no competition before, and they do realistically have other people producing EVs to compete against them. So that's just the reality of the situation. I still think that Tesla is going to be above and beyond where they are, but if Tesla cannot produce enough vehicles, as I mentioned the other day, what you end up running into is people who need a vehicle now. And yes, maybe they're going to go to a Hyundai or they're going to go to Ford and say, hey, I would rather have a Tesla, but I can't get a Tesla for 6 to 12 months. I can go ahead and get a Hyundai or a Ford right now. And so they're going to go ahead and get it right now. So that could end up being what ends up happening for Tesla because that, again, is their only competition. So that's why paying attention to factory ramps and production are so vitally important for Tesla, because the faster they can ramp, the more vehicles they can produce, the faster they're going to stay ahead of everyone else. And all the people who would choose another vehicle over Tesla strictly because they don't have to wait, now Tesla can get those customers back. With all the numbers that we have gotten in so far, there's only 3 companies who are up over last year based on US sales. That's Tesla, Porsche, and Ford. Everyone else is in the deep, deep red when it comes to sales versus last year. So going into the future, they're going to be transitioning over. Are they going to be doing more ICE vehicles? Are they doing EVs? That's a challenge that a lot of the other companies are going to have to make. Obviously, EV startups like Rivian, Lucid, the Chinese companies like NIO, XPeng, Li Auto, they're just doing EVs as it is. So they're kind of on the same trajectory as Tesla because they're growing and they are just building up their business. So they should be growing. They don't all have that legacy baggage to deal with. So yes, we've seen Honda, GM, Daimler, all these companies are definitely hurting year over year. We'll see how we progress forward. But again, the more Tesla can produce, eventually Tesla, I would say within the next year, by the end of 2023, is going to start knocking off some of these companies significantly. And it's not just going to be Tesla selling more EVs than the competition. It's going to be Tesla selling more vehicles in total than the competition. We are going to see that happening over the next year and a half. Guarantee it. And a problem many analysts are seeing is they're only seeing Tesla as an EV company. And Gordon Johnson was going off on this himself the other day, just about, how Tesla's only an EV company, they're not going to be able to do anything else, they don't have any other products. And if you take a step back and you look in right now, absolutely right now, Tesla is getting, yes, the majority of its revenue from EVs right now. But this is why you look at a growth trajectory. And when it comes to just EVs alone and seeing a 50% year over year growth, which we looked at the other day and can definitely see it happening for at least the next 2 years when it comes to sales, and then the Cybertruck being sold out through 2027, Tesla has a lot of demand. So if they can make the production happen, they're going to sell all of these vehicles. And then at that point, Legacy Auto is going to have to compete with that. And something I was discussing with Holmars over on Twitter was how Tesla is just dominating the EV market. But guess what? Tesla didn't get into the EV market for producing EVs. Tesla got into it to change the world over to renewable, sustainable energy. So just wait till they can actually focus on that. Because energy, as we had seen before and Dave Lee had pointed it out, energy is the next giant S-curve that Tesla is going to be going on, and they haven't even really started with that yet. So when you look at a lot of people who are, Tesla Q and bears saying, Tesla and EVs, they're not cleaner than ICE vehicles. They're a lot dirtier because they're, using all of this coal to charge all the vehicles. Well, that's great. And if you're looking at the future for the world, you say, well, EVs by themselves are definitely cleaner than ICE vehicles. So if it comes down to the grid that's dirtier, why aren't we just upgrading the grid? Oh wait, that's what Tesla wants to do. So if Tesla starts to upgrade the grid, and think about it, Tesla started the EV revolution in hopes of changing the world to renewable, sustainable energy. Now we're getting to this point where Tesla has led this revolution in the EV industry and everyone is following suit. So what's going to happen next? Well, naturally, we're going to have to change over the grid. Tesla is going to lead that revolution as well. Tesla has said themselves, they're not looking to own the entire market of it. They just want to start it and get it converted over. And by 2027, that was Elon's goal, to have the EVs be 50% of the automotive market, because that's the tipping point where we're going to go to more EVs. So at that point, that's when energy is really going to need to be cleaner. Guess what? Here comes Tesla stepping in to make that happen. So even if we don't get that same, revolution reaction until the end of the decade, it doesn't matter, because look what happened to Tesla between 2019 and 2021. It blew up in the stock price. So if we're going to go to that point again in 2029 to 2031, do you guys want to be on board for that? I know I sure do. But this is where you have to look at the future, and you've got to have that hope. Because this would be like investing back in Tesla in 2011, 2012, 2013. And you're like, Do I really want to get into this company? There's no EV market. It doesn't exist. Do we want to get into it? Well, the people who did are sitting very pretty right now. Let me know if any of you were in this stock that early. Did you get in as early as 2012, 2013? Let me know in the comments, because I know you guys are probably pretty happy about the fact that you were in the stock back then. So now we have that next opportunity with energy coming at the end of this decade. And then when we're looking at Optimus, we might actually see that one start at the end of the 2030s. So this could be a easily 20-year generational stock to be holding. And when you look at guys like Gordon Johnson and other bears who are like they're only an EV company, if you look at just the now, sure, you can argue that right now they're only an EV company. But we all know, as Tesla bulls, that is not what their goal is. And all along the way, Tesla has proven that they are going to accomplish the goals that they're looking for, because Tesla doesn't like to lose. Tesla goes out and they only have one focus in mind. That is winning and changing the world over. And to them, it's not even, they don't even have like an end goal in mind. Something I learned for myself when it came to health and fitness, when you have an end goal in mind, a lot of times you hit that goal and then you fall off the wagon. Maybe your goal is to lose 30 pounds and you lose 30 pounds and you get there and you're like, well, what do I do now? Tesla doesn't have that. Tesla doesn't have a goal of, we want to get, 20 million EVs sold. It's not their goal. Their goal is to change the world going forward. That's why we haven't even seen Master Plan Part 3 yet. Like, we're getting to the point where they've got the EV business rolling, but we don't even know what Master Plan Part 3 is. We don't even know if there's going to be maybe a Master Plan Part 4. Who knows? So, this is just an ongoing goal for Tesla that is never going to end. This is why they are going to be so successful, because they're just looking at going, what can we do next? What can we do next? How can we improve? How can we get better? How can we make the world better in the future? What can we do more to help everyone out? And then you look back at, the valuation of Tesla, and everybody's like, well, yeah, when you look at it as just an EV company, Tesla has a higher valuation than the next 9 automotive makers combined. But then you look at the EVs alone, and Tesla has more of the EV market share. And I know we don't discuss the EV market share because it's automotive market share, but if that's the direction that we are trending and the entire automotive market is going to become EVs, and Tesla has more of that market share than the next 9 automotive makers combined, which is actually more than all of the rest of the automotive market combined, that would justify their valuation right now based on where the future is headed. So even when we go into the future and that market share does decline for Tesla, they're going to have the energy sector, they're going to have AI, they're going to have FSD, and then they'll end up having Optimus in the future as well, if that does end up coming to fruition with AI. So this is why many of us as Tesla bulls see this justification for the valuation in the future, because we can see all of these steps along the way and we have faith. And I've talked about it before, where many of the bulls believe what we're going to see in the future. And I'm one that is like, talk is cheap. I talk about it all the time when it comes to, Legacy Auto. They're talking about what they're going to do in the future. Can they actually make it happen? Because they haven't proven it yet. Tesla has talked about it and they've proven it. They still have to prove themselves with FSD, but we are seeing the progress coming along there. So we have seen when it comes to EVs, when they say they're going to hit a mark in the target, they hit that target. So when it comes to EV production, that is why my valuation model is based mostly on EV production, because they have proven that they can hit these numbers. So I see these numbers, I put them in, 50% year over year growth. My numbers are based off of EVs. So if they can solve FSD, if they can actually push energy to the next level, to where they want to go, that is just going to push my valuation model even higher. And this is why I can justify why Tesla's valuation is so much higher than all of the other automotive makers. That's just me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Today was fun. I had a lot of fun sharing all that with you guys. I don't know, I was just feeling really good today about all that. So yes, feeling very confident and positive and bullish about Tesla's future. But again, being realistic, when it comes to EVs, yes, competition is coming, but that competition is going to be good because it's going to end up changing the entire world over to EVs and in turn renewable energy, which Tesla they can take and run with as well in the future. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about all of that. Let me know, where do you think Tesla is going in the future? What do you think about the competition coming? Do you think the competition is actually good for Tesla, or do you think it's going to hold them back and actually cause Tesla to fall down a little bit? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I know we're all over the spectrum and I love all of the different views that you guys give. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, I do have a Patreon. That link is also in the description. And also, I'm going to be starting my first live stream coming up this Friday, shooting for around 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I should be on there. I'll let you guys know more about it later today and tomorrow morning. Otherwise, I will see you guys all later. Have a great one.